Also tonight, the Archbishop of St. Louis has made many tough decisions in the last week. All the schools in the Archdiocese are now going to be closed until April 22nd, a whole nother month. All masses are canceled, including the most sacred Holy Week and Easter Sunday. In his first TV interview in 18 months, Archbishop Carlson talked to me about leading 500,000 Catholics through this crisis, what they should do about celebrating Easter at home, and perhaps some of his biggest news, the Pope got back to him about his resignation letter.
Do you have one sentence, whether it's your own words or a verse, piece of scripture, that maybe you could offer to people to repeat to themselves when they feel extremely anxious or fearful during this time?
Yeah, I would say this. While there are all kinds of things put upon us because of the virus, and people go to the stores and their supplies are short, but the one thing that is never short is love.
When you said love, you could tell how much the stress and anxiety of people is really impacting your heart.
I don't think you can be a minister of the gospel and not have it do that. When people are suffering, you have to suffer with them.
But it's suffering at a distance. All masses are canceled. The only way to take part is to watch an online mass like this one. The Archdiocese is streaming one mass every day on their website, as individual parishes scramble to create their own online presence. The Archbishop says finding creative ways to reach their parishioners will be the biggest challenge.
How our parishes are going to reach out to families and care for them, whether they're elderly or young, and also stay in touch with people. You know, if I was a pastor, I think I'd have the parish list in front of me, and every time I had a few minutes, I'd call 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 families and say, "Hi, this is Father so-and-so, how are you doing?" And I intend to do that with the priests as well.
Priests who will not prepare homilies for the 500,000 St. Louis Catholics who normally fill the pews for the religion's most sacred Holy Week that concludes with Easter Sunday Mass.
If they are not able to go to Mass, what can they do at home with their families, with their children, with the people that matter most to them to celebrate, to feel the connection and the faith?
Well, I think what they do is they try to find one of the places where masses are offered and to watch it as a family together. I think parents can, perhaps at a dinner table when they sit down, they can talk about what Easter has meant to them over the years and what a joy it was to be able to go to church and to show off the new Easter bonnet or whatever it was that they did at their age, and to stay off their cell phones and rather to talk to people one-on-one and not spend all their time seeing who's contacted them, but be very, very present.
He's been Archbishop of St. Louis for 11 years, a priest for 50 years. Last summer, he sent his resignation letter to Pope Francis. He was turning 75, the mandatory retirement age for the powerful position. Since then, there's been no word of a reply from the Holy Father until now.
Archbishop, have you heard back at all from the Pope about your resignation?
I got a letter back, said, Archbishop Carlson, we accept your resignation now for later.
And what does later mean?
I have no idea, but I did receive a telephone call that said, how's your health? And I said, it's good. You know, 2006 is when I had colon cancer. And I said, and they said, well, are you anxious to retire? I said, not particularly. And the person who was on the other line said, well, can I share that with a few people? I said, yeah, go ahead. I don't care. So I like it here in St. Louis. I love the people. And so far, there's no posse chasing me. So I'm happy to stay.
The Archbishop also told me that the shelves are pretty bare at St. Vincent de Paul, that Catholic charity, so if you can donate, please do so. Some individual parishes have gotten up and running as far as streaming those masses online, and then the Cathedral Basilica has that daily mass every single day. To find a link to those online masses, you can go to archstl.org/coronavirus.